Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we are going to look at OData Entity Set Lookup for eForms. OData, also known as Open Data Protocol, is an OSS standard that defines a set of best practices for building and consuming RESTful APIs. OData helps you focus on your business logic while building RESTful APIs without having to worry about the various approaches to define request and response headers, status codes, HTTP methods, URL conventions, query options, etc. Let's look at how to consume OData service from eForms. So I'm in my demo environment right now. Now, before we consume any kind of an OData lookup on eForm, we need to create an access token to connect to that OData service. Access token can be created at a global level within Manage Center and reused across applications, or we can create it at an app level and restrict it to app scope. In my case, I'm going to create it at a global level. So I'm going to go to Manage Center, App Builder, Global Access Token. You can click on Add a Token and select OData Service. In my case, I have already created one token, so I'm going to put it in edit mode. So the way it works is while creating the token, you would give it a token name with which you can identify the token, the root OData service URL. So I'm going to use the trip pin rest tier service. This is a reference service which is available on odata.org. So if you go to developers area, under that you will see reference services and you'll see this is the base service which we are going to connect to. So I pasted the root URL. I can obviously configure some headers if I wanted over here, maybe authentication headers, maybe some other headers required by my service, and eventually go ahead and click test connection. Now, once that is done, you can go to your app builder module over here, select a form on which OData lookup has to be performed. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a form over here which has a repeating subform, which has following controls: username, first name, middle name, last name, email, age, gender, and favorite feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a lookup to that OData service, and the result set which I'm going to obtain, I'm going to bind it to this repeating subform. So in order to do that, I'm going to look for auto lookup control. I'm going to call it get people. I'm going to select a lookup source. I'll select OData service, select an access token, give it a name. It will be a multi-column kind of lookup. Now, it automatically detects what kind of entities are available within the OData service URL we specified in the access token. So it has people, airlines, airports. I'm going to select people. Now it gives me two modes of configuring my request. I can do a quick config, which is more for citizen developers, or I can do a manual setup as well. We are going to see both of them. First, let's start with quick config. I'm going to initially not specify any filters or sort by order by options. For the response, again, I can store a response in a form field. Whatever response is coming back, I can store it in a single field as JSON, XML, whatever is the format, or I can map the response to Agile Point schema. So what I'm going to do is this is going to return me back a repeating set of rows. So I'm going to map the parent node of the people array back to the repeating node in my subform. And then I can, to save time, just do an auto map. It maps all the matching node names, and whatever is not matching, I'm going to just map it manually here. Okay, so my mapping is done. I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Now next I'm going to say whatever results are being returned, bind it to the repeating subform control. Execute this lookup when the form is loaded or related field value changes. Right now I don't have any filter, so form load was good enough, but I selected this filter over here. Okay, and we are going to do a quick preview, and as you can see now it brings down the list of people from my OData service. Now we are going to close this preview window and make some changes. So the list which was returned back to me was not ordered in a particular sequence. So now I'm going to add a sort by. So I'm going to say sorted by last name in an ascending order. And click Finish. Now once the lookup has been updated, let's look at the preview. So now as you can see, it is sorted alphabetically based on the last name. All the ones starting with A have been listed first, and then starting with B. Okay. We're going to go back, further configure it. Now next we are going to specify a filter condition. So I'm going to expand the filter condition area, add a new filter, and I'm going to say, show me every record where last name either starts with, there are a whole lot of operators available as per the data type, starts with S, and I can even make it more complex, or last name maybe starts with A. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. Do a preview again. So now as you can see, it is bringing back a filtered set of rows. I got anything which has last name as starting with A or last name starting with S. A filtered set of records. Let's go ahead and edit the lookup again. In the same way, I can keep going. I can specify how many records I want. If I wanted to skip certain number of records, I can do that as well. So I'm going to show you the manual setup option as well. So in case you are an advanced developer and you wanted to write your own filter conditions instead of using the quick config, you can set up it manually. I'm going to just copy an expression from my scratchpad over here. So I'm saying that bring all the records where first name equals Russell. Click Finish. Do a preview again. So now as you can see, it brought down the record where first name equals Russell. So you can specify your filter conditions manually as well. So with this feature, now you can configure and call an OData service right from within eForms natively. Thanks a lot for your time.